Yes, Reds, how are we? On a Friday morning. For some reason, I said...
He's going to say Tuesday then.
I know. Fucking hell, what's going on? As I say, mate, my head is covered because of Liverpool, so it is what it is. But this is episode 2, Kop of the Morning. Millie is with us again. How are you?
All good. I mean, what can you say? You got to keep the positivity, because what are we going to do if we don't, quite frankly?
Oh, this is it. This is why we've brought him.
That's why I'm here. Keep the smiles, innit?
Keep the smiles. Ross, how are we, lad?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. It's 1 week closer to the Reds being back. Nottingham Forest next weekend.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. It depends how you look at it, really, innit? So I fucking hate international football, so good thing for me. But yeah, no, looking forward to it.
Well, so I thought we go through a few topics. One of which we've got the likes of the VAR tape that was released. We'll go into that a little bit later. We'll start off with a bit more positive news, whether people think it's positive or not. Ibrahima Konate looks like it's progressing a bit better. Do I think he signs? I'm not too sure yet. Millie, Ibrahima Konate, I think one thing's for sure is Liverpool could really do with not losing more players, as in, especially another centre half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you'd have asked me 5 minutes after the City game, I'd have said I'd have flown the plane to Madrid for him, because my head was on Mars. I thought he was diabolical. But we're not in a position to lose players at the moment. We're really not, especially not in the back. But something's got to change with how he's playing, because at the moment, he just seems like he's not in it. He'll have 2 good games and you think, oh, do you know what? Okay, maybe I'm a bit hasty on my criticisms. And then he pulls like 6 stinkers out the bag and I think, I can't defend this. Just like he can't defend half the time. It's doing me head in.
This is the problem with it, Ross. You know, his biggest issue is when he's good, he's very good. When he's bad, he's fucking terrible. However, I still think he is one of the top centre halves in Europe when he's on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Like, I know we've all been frustrated with like Konate, but equally we could be saying we're frustrated with a lot of players on the pitch. And I think, like, my personal opinion is I think he goes. I think, you know, Madrid and that calling, there's a lot of French players in Madrid as well in there, you know, the Camavingas, Tchouaménis, Mbappe. So I personally think he'll go, but if we can sign him to a new contract, I agree with you. He has been frustrating, but everyone else has been frustrating. And on his day, I think he can be phenomenal. And I'm not trying to... I don't want to judge any of the players at the minute because the whole team isn't performing. And I know that sounds silly considering we're like halfway through the season. How can we judge the players? But I'm judging Arne Slot. You know, that's where I'm going with it. But yeah, if we get Konate on a new deal, I think that would be big. I think that would set us up to go and get like a marquee.
Use something as good news, Ross. We can't just be negative because of his performance against City and a couple of the others beforehand. But
no,
we need some good news at the club, don't we?
We need something, yeah, because it's just been stop-start all season. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, a little bit of good news in terms of wrapping up a top centre half like Konate, because, you know, you have a look in Europe. Who'd you go out and get to replace him? A Bastoni, maybe, who's, 80 mil? Something like that. So,
I don't think he'd be a replacement for Konate. I think he'd be more Virgil van Dijk. But
maybe, yeah.
That's hard, though, mate. I just don't think Liverpool can be losing another key member. Do you know, we
Absolutely
can't have a brand new team. Do you know what I mean?
Not on a free either. Not on a free.
No.
No, you know, if Liverpool, I know there's been some reports on Twitter that this is his final contract offer from us, and if he don't sign, then we're gonna sell. Then absolutely be ruthless, get him out in Jan. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think he goes, but I do hope he stays.
I don't think the contract talk helps though. I don't think that helps any performances. It's like Trent last season. Once that starts in, and it's not just internally, externally from the outside. We're all like, are you going or you're not? That has to play a part in the decline in performance, because he is like he's being pulled from both sides. It's like, does he stay? Does he go? It's difficult.
You have a look like. Sorry, Ben. I was going to say, you have a look at like how contracts have changed over the last few years with players going on a free. Normally, you'd see like players entering their final 12 months, and then like discussions would like be ramping up and starting. But it's almost at the 2-year mark now where that is happening instead of the 1-year mark, because Madrid, for any top player, are just waiting in the wings to take them on a free. You know, so it's almost as if Liverpool need to play catch up, because I think. Didn't Saka or Saliba have like 2 years left on their deal? Saliba's just signed a new one and he had 2 years left. So it's almost like clubs are bringing forward a year what they should have been doing. Do you know what I mean? A year left.
I do. I agree with you, lads. You know, when we talk about Arsenal there, it seems like they're having a lot of good things going for them at the minute.
Yeah.
I think that was like us last year. You know, we used the Salah and Van Dijk things as well, didn't we, to our power at the end? Do you know what I mean? I do think we could do with some good news, and I do the little things I've heard, and you know, it's starting to come out now. You know, Szoboszlai getting his new deal agreed. That's the
That'll
rumours.
be huge.
200 grand a week with his bonuses, which I think that's fair enough. I do think he's one of the players, Millie, that you know can hold his head high. I think he's been very, very good. At times, I think he can cause us an issue whereby the manager starts fucking throwing him around here, there, and everywhere. But that's because the other fuckers are shite at the minute. And that's the truth. And Dom, he does me head in at times, Dom, because I know how good he is. I expect a bit more, certainly in front of goal. But one thing's for sure is he's doing Liverpool proud at the minute in a difficult time, Millie.
I think he's one of the only players that we can say this season has actually played for the badge, game in, game out. He's been the best player of the season for me. I love Dominik Szoboszlai, and I genuinely believe if he carries on the way that he's going and he signs this new deal, he will be the future captain of the club. The way that he plays, and he's been played all over the field by Slot this season as well. He's put here, there, everywhere, and every time he seems to just come through and find a way. Like he just does. He's so passionate, and you can see it in his face. And also, I mean, that free kick against Arsenal, that will stay in my mind forever. Absolutely sublime. I've never seen anything like it. It was just wonderful. And I just think we've got so many players that we can criticise at the moment, which we're fairly doing and unfairly doing for some. But he's the one where I feel like I can say a good 85% of the time, I've got nothing bad to say about the fella. It's been great.
He has, Ross. I think this was his breakout year, Ross. I think.
Yeah.
He needed to. Well, he come back with a point to prove, didn't he? He knew where it was coming in. Forward players were coming in, so midfield was a battle, certainly with Wirtz being there. And he said, "I'm going to fight for my place," and he certainly has done that. He's the first on the team sheet as of right now. As I say, me and Adam have been a bit tingy when it comes to Dom. We know he's a top player, but he could do a bit more at times. But lately, he's been superb, and he really has. And you know, do you know if I've got question marks over certain players, I like to be proved wrong on them. Do you know what I mean? I want them to step up. Same with regards to the manager, Ross. Do you know what I mean? But I think with Szoboszlai, do you think he's captain material, Ross?
Yeah, I think if he continues these performances, over the next year or two, and Van Dijk is obviously unfortunately going to leave the club at some stage. Yeah, absolutely. Dom was always one of those players. He was signed for, what was he signed for? Like 70 million, which
60, 70, yeah.
We take it back a few seasons. That was a huge sum of money back then before we start getting into the 100 million territory, which we've been doing the last couple of seasons.
It was because it was the release clause paid up front. That's why Liverpool.
That's it. Yeah. So, and I think his first, what's he in now? His third season, is it? Is it third or fourth? I can't. Yeah. So his first couple of seasons, I know he had some under Klopp and now he's under Arne. I never really felt as if there was a position for Dom, maybe until last season when he was on that right side with Mo. And obviously this season he's been thrown around the gaff, like playing right back. And every position he's played, I think he's done well. It's similar to what you said, Millie, like 85% of the time, I think Dom has been our go-to guy. You know, so, if he keeps that going in the next year or so, then absolutely. And let's be honest, it's nice to have a number 8 that we can get behind, our previous number 8, Naby Keita.
Crab.
Yeah, made of quavers, unfortunately. But yeah, it's nice to have a number 8 after Stevie that we can all get behind, He
had some fucking mad cults, that bastard, didn't he?
I love Naby, mate. I love Naby, but I'm positive, as I said. So I was behind Naby until the final day. I thought, he'll come out, and nothing happened.
He was. This is the problem, isn't it, with certain other leagues? He had some talent, of course. He did. Everyone was mad excited about Keita when he came in. Unfortunately, wasn't good enough, and that's where you see where the moves he's gone when he's left. It's just gone all Pete Tong, as they say. But Millie. You mentioned it to me to bring up with regards to Dom, and it's the potential Man City and Real Madrid links. Now, the question I pose to you, but I'll go to you first, is do you believe them?
No, I honestly don't believe them. I think we're pretty secure in knowing that Dom wants to be with Liverpool. I can't see him going to Madrid, and I can't see going to City. In no world can I see him going to City. I mean, we know what Madrid are like. They circle around clubs like sharks when they get sniffed a player. But I just think you can see it when he plays. He's so passionate about playing for Liverpool. I can't envision a world where he goes, do you know what? I don't want your contract.
I think in time, though, I do kind of agree with this. I agree with you, but of course, right now, Ross, I do think he'd look at Madrid in the future, though. He's Trent's bloody best mate, isn't he?
I think I could see Dom going to Madrid if Madrid comes sniffing, and this is why it's vital to wrap him up in a contract
They're not fans
now.
as well, mate. They've got nothing else to lose, have they?
Well, this is it. Like Madrid, honestly, they're the devil's club. Like they're not even like spending the Galactico money that they previously had. They're just signing people on a free
ground, isn't it?
Yeah, it's smart. You've got to give it to them. I don't know how they're doing it. How do you speak to players who've like got 2 years left on their contract? I know they go through agents and whatever, but yeah, we need to wrap Dom up because absolutely, I think if Madrid come calling for Dom, I think he would be straight there. My honest opinion, you know.
No, I agree with you. I think there's another player that we'll be looking at.
New contract is vital. He needs to get his name on that timeline ASAP.
This is it. You know, when you really listen to Gerrard when he's on that interview with Rio Ferdinand the other week, he slipped it out there about it's what they get the players to do. Do you know what I mean about Real Madrid? Because he obviously wants them. Look, Dick, I was saying the same here. One of our own literally done it. Wouldn't shock me if he went City. Diaz wants to. You just got the thing is now Liverpool's got to be very astute in getting contracts done. Don't fuck about. If you have to pay a little bit more to keep them there, you do, in the hope that Liverpool go and win the honours. There's rumours on the street of maybe a little 1 year for Andy Robertson. I think he deserves it, Millie. Maybe he does do it. However, I can also see him thinking of a Celtic move.
That's the other rumour that's circulating at the moment is that he's in discussion to go back to Celtic.
I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't be against him doing that either.
No, and I wouldn't be angry at him if he's been a great servant to the club. And even this year, obviously, we brought in Kirkes thinking that Andy Robbo would be benched more, and then he's gone.
We thought he was finished.
I thought the legs. That's it. It's over. It'll come on a few times, you know. And then he pulls these sort of performances out the bag against Madrid. Oh my God, he was unbelievable against Madrid. And
isn't it refreshing though? Because like I think bringing in that competition of Kirkes, which is challenging his place in the team, it elevates players. And I don't think Robbo had that with the Tsimikas.
No, I don't think Tsimikas brought that out of him at all. And you could see it by the end of the season. Everyone was sort of like, because there was obviously
Tsimikas couldn't elevate his leg, could he? Fucking hell.
He was meant to go over the summer, and then obviously he didn't. And then we bring Kirkes in, and it's like breathed new life into him.
Yeah.
This is why I think it's a good option to discuss this. Do you think Semenyo will elevate Gakpo more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it elevates all top players at some stage. We've seen it. Like, if you have no competition, you're almost guaranteed a place in the team.
You become lazy, Ross.
You do, yeah. You know, it's similar to us in our workplaces. If we have someone behind us who's pushing and moving up the chain, you're sitting there going, "Shit, I need to get my shit together." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Semenyo, I'd be massively happy with Semenyo, but I'd be even more happier with a centre back in Jan than Semenyo, if I'm honest. But yeah, Gakpo, when he came in, I think he was pretty slow, wasn't he, at first? And then he had that game against United and kind of exploded from there. So yeah, if we bring in Semenyo, I think it would just elevate Gakpo to another level. And he's just signed a new contract as well, isn't he, Gakpo? So
yeah. He has. I think with Gakpo, we haven't really asked you this, Millie. Where are you at with Gakpo? I think Cody is a great player. For me, though, I think he's more of a squad player.
I think he's a great player, like you say, but he's too predictable as a player, I find. Everyone knows exactly what he's going to do next, game in, game out. You could watch any game that he's played, and 9 times out of 10, he'll be in the exact same position, doing the exact same thing for the 90 minutes. And that's the worry with him. And I do think sometimes if he wasn't Gakpo and he wasn't Dutch, would he be starting as often under Arne Slot? I wonder if there's a bit of bias there, because there are so many times when you just think, oh my God, the overlapping man is right there. Please just pass the ball. And it's time and time again. And so it becomes frustrating. and then he goes and pulls goals out the bag, and you think, oh right, okay, fine, maybe I've been a bit hasty there, and he plays well for the Dutch side, and it's like it's constant confusion with what's going on with these players. I can't put my finger on what it is.
But this is it, and I think Gakpo, he looks better when players are tired that he's going up against. The predictability becomes a bit more unpredictable, when legs are a bit out of there. If anyone's got them, Ross, can you do me a favour? Because I can't really do it when I'm on this. Can you get the list as well of the managers that Lewis Steele talked about? Because I can't remember where the fuck I put that. Because I want to go through them with you. But as I say, Emily, question for you then. Wahed, this is Welsh Mo. He is saying, do you think Semenyo will / should replace Gakpo?
I think if he comes in, we should give him the opportunity to. I would start Semenyo ahead of Gakpo personally. But knowing this team, he'll probably then start because Semenyo's got a slight injury, and then he'll have a world-class performance. And
that's what you want, though, isn't it?
This is the thing. I'd rather have a load of world-class players that are pushing each other to be better than just allowing them to kind of be mediocre. A lot of the time, I want mediocre players at my club.
Well, Nick's is saying it. Look, if you just join us as well, I see us all piling in now. Finally, the numbers are picking up. Smash and like, subscribe. If you want to become a member, please do so. A little snippet for you as well. Lewis Steele's going to be joining us next Tuesday, so we're going to have a good go. We're going to go through his list in a minute. I couldn't. That's why I asked you, Ross, because you're much quicker on the computer than me. I'll end up fucking tearing a man off by mistake.
I know. I'm struggling to find it now, if I'm honest.
If anyone's got the list of managers that Lewis Steele discussed, no, Adam, that's not the list, you dickhead.
I got it.
All right, but just a quick one. Nick's is saying here, how many signings in January you reckon? Personally, I think 1. Ross, how many could you see?
I think 2. I think a centre back is a must. Like, if you want to get this season back on track, like obviously we got December to go yet, so it could go either way. But let's say we have a good December and within like 5-6 points of top, I think you need to go and get a centre back. We couldn't have predicted what happened with Leone. It's unfortunate, and he looked phenomenal against Southampton, didn't he?
So good.
Yeah, it looked really good. So, if we want to be taken seriously and as a top club and be competing for this league this season, we need to go out and get a centre back in Jan. But I think
it shouldn't even be a question.
No, it's. I think all of us have a little bit of PTSD from a couple of seasons ago when we seen like Hendo and Fabinho playing centre back, and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go out in Jan and sign a centre back, and then we end up with Ozan Kabak from Schalke, was it? So I do think we need to just like crack on with a centre back signing. I don't understand why we wouldn't throw like 20-25 mil at Gahey. I think Palace would be open to that.
I've been saying pay them what they want at this point. I'm not asked about it. It's a dire situation that we need to resolve.
Yeah.
How much money did we spend on Isak and Wirtz? But we can't chuck 20-25 mil at Palace for Gahey.
This is it. This is where I think it's our Achilles heel at times, where the businessmen are just like, oh, well, we can get him on a free in 6 months. But it's like, no, the team needs him now. Yeah.
Certainly in the Premier League. Real Madrid can do it because their league's garbage at times. Liverpool can't. I just want to say to you, Millie, because obviously I just want to say we'll go into the Slot thing in our title. What says, if not Slot, then who? We'll do that towards the end. But Slot out, Mancini in.
I don't know. I think there's still the part of me that's like, no, we need to stick with him. He's going to turn it round. I don't know. I don't know what manager would do a better job at this.
I want to know your thoughts. Why Mancini, lad, of all the managers in the world?
Yeah, I can't. It's such an odd shout. I don't know if I can. I don't know.
The thing is, it's a cause for the debate, isn't it? Look, we will go through. I'm going to go through some managers with you. But Mancini, for me, I don't know. Wouldn't be my choice. I'm guessing Millie's no.
No. I'm all right.
This is Ross's list.
So my Adam's obviously had a few pints, I think. So yeah, Adam's on the weekend beers already.
Fucking hell! Started last night. It must be still going. No, but look, I think with regards to that, can you get the list names for us then, Ross? Go through the list then. So, look, if you just joined us now, Lewis Steele put some quotes out. Can't think who we've done an interview with, but he will be with us next week. However, we're going to pull it apart now. So Ross, the list of managers that were considered, and he also, what does he say exactly?
So it just breaks down the managers. So it says when Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool, the club considered the following managers. So there's the Stuttgart manager, which is Sebastian Hoeneß. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm terrible. Roberto Di Zerbi, the ex-Brighton manager. Di Zerbi, whatever his name is. I don't know.
I'm glad you're reading these, not me.
Mate,
That's
honestly.
here.
Wait, the next one's even harder. I don't know whether it's Mikel or Michel. I don't know, from Girona. Mate, honestly, I'll get the next one right. Ernesto Valverde from Atletico Bilbao, and Luciano Spalletti from Juventus. Has he just been sacked? I think not long ago.
I think so.
Yeah. So, but none of those names there. Like, if I'm honest, like if I compare them to Arne Slot, and I know we're going through a tough time.
Shouldn't have Arnie.
100%, yeah. None of those names excite me because I spoke about this. Like, I've been very vocal in the group. Like, I know everyone's been like, "Oh, Slot needs to replace him," blah blah blah, whatever it is. But like, if you get the next manager appointment wrong, we're even further behind. We've seen United go from Moyes, Mourinho, Van Gaal. You know, if you don't get it right, you just go backwards and backwards and backwards, and we can't afford to do it.
Sorry, I had it muted there because I was coughing. Gary's saying Mancini's won titles. He's better than Slot.
But those titles were a little while ago, though, right? We're on about the Mancini from Man City.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, like, if I'm honest, since he's left Man City, and I don't know, I haven't followed him since he left Man City, but yes, he's won titles. But you look at those managers back then compared to now, like, is Mourinho the same? Yes, football's evolved. You can't have that anymore. You know, Mourinho's not the manager he was. I think he's struggling in Turkey. He's gone to Portugal, you know, stuff like that. There's just no managers out there right now that I go, yeah, go and get him. Apart from Luis Enrique, but pipeline. It's a pipeline dream. Do you know what I mean?
I think this is the difference, Millie, is that people think people can be slot in, people can be slot out. However, you can't just sack a manager mid-season and expect everything to go to plan. And that's where I agree with Ross. I think there's got to be a proper plan in place. And let's make no mistake about it. You know, you and I both know that you can't carry on the form that Liverpool are in. You know, we dissected a bit yesterday. Now, when you looked at some of the points tallies that we discussed last night, they aren't a million miles away from where they need to be. However, getting there is part of the problem. And the form that Liverpool are in, even before the title win, is not good. And it seems to have carried on this year. But the facts are that, I don't care what anyone says, I personally believe that they will be looking in the background of if something was to go wrong. Because they have to be. Liverpool aren't stupid, are they?
Yeah, of course. I think as much as we're all critical of the team's performances and Slot's tactics at the moment, there's a part of me that's like, sacking a manager mid-season is just unsettling an already unsettled team even more. And
how are they going to improve so much? Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing. I don't think that the magical answer is bringing someone else in, and all of a sudden we'll just be back to how we were, like that. It's not gonna solve all the issues that we have. But in the same breath, like you say, they have to be looking in the background, because at the moment, if this form continues, like I said on Tuesday, we're going to end up bottom half of the table, and that's not where Liverpool are meant to be. But it's like which one's the lesser of two evils? Do they risk it and try and go for a new manager and hope that it changes something and the form switches around? Or do they stick? And like we all want him to turn him around. None of us want to be considering backing a manager mid-season. It's not the Liverpool way. But it's such a contentious situation where it's like, what is the right answer?
I think what Welsh Mo's saying, though, Ross, they'd be the two for me, personally. Yeah. I think if I personally, Ross, was built, I'd say, look, before anyone clips me and says, fucking you want him out, I want him to improve. If he doesn't improve, then he will be out. Do you know what I mean? And I agree with that. What Gary says, you know, he thinks Slot will be slacked. He will not turn it around. I've got my doubts I'm not seeing enough personally at the minute to suggest it's going to turn around. I think we are too hit and miss, and I think they will be. Now is where I believe, Ross, the club will be judging Arne Slot. We've had enough time now. What are we in? 11 games in or 12 games in? One of them. Facts are, Ross, Liverpool can't be 8th. Doesn't matter. But if I was building a list of managers that I think it doesn't mean that they'd be the manager, but if what I would like to see, Luis Enrique would be one. Xabi Alonso would be one.
I think in my head, I have a couple names who I'd think we would need to consider, because the names I just read out before, I don't think are good enough. We've got a world-class squad, so we need an equivalent world-class manager to
you
bring
also have
them
to
out.
have someone, Ross, who demands respect. And the problem that I think it is something, obviously it may not be, but there's players in Liverpool's team that are bigger than Slot. And I never thought that with regards to Klopp.
No, and this is where I don't think we've had enough exposure to Arne Slot in terms of what type of manager he is, because he's come in, he's won the league in his first season, and then we go out and sign all of these players, and we think we're going to absolutely smash it this season. Obviously, it doesn't happen that way. We've struggled massively, but to think 12 months ago, we probably wouldn't even be having this discussion about, are we going to sack a manager or whatever. But I think if he was to go, we need to be looking at the likes of, I'd like to have a look at Cesc Fabregas. What he's doing at Como, I think, is really good.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I think Xavi, again, I think Marty mentioned it in the chat. Xavi is a name we need to look at, whether he fits the club or not. Luis Enrique, I think, would top the list, I think, for most of our fan base. Yeah, absolutely.
He'd be worth the fucking wages as well, mate.
Yeah, like Luis Enrique, I think, would fit the culture of the club. I think he'd come in and just, be one of the fans.
It's also emotional as well, lad. And I think when you're Liverpool manager, you've got to show a bit more emotion. We're an emotional fan base. Do you know what I mean? We are so fucking. You look what Anfield's like. Millie were there the day when that Real Madrid game. When Anfield gets up, it's fucking hard for an opposition player, isn't it?
That's why we loved Klopp so much, because you felt connected to Klopp. There was that fan-manager connection, and I think that's a little bit what we're lacking at the moment. Is we don't know what he's really like as a person. Whereas Klopp, he was as he came to this, like, he was just him. That's it. There was no arsing about. There was no like mirage around him. You just knew who he was, and he got it. And I think those two things click so instantly, and I think that's what Slot's struggling with the fan base. They haven't merged as well as we did with Klopp.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with this. Adam saying Enrique, Alonso, Fabregas, top three. That would be mine. What about this? Nagelsmann.
I don't like it, if I'm honest. Because he didn't, and again, my football knowledge may be terrible, but didn't he go to Bayern and he didn't do really a good job there? And then you have like Vincent Kompany, who's come into Bayern, and absolutely, let's be honest, he's got that team ticket now. Bayern are a threat,
Yeah.
So I don't like Nagelsmann, but I haven't seen enough of him to say, totally rule him out. The thing is, you guys have hit it on the head. Like with Liverpool, you need a certain type of manager. It's not just about tactics. It's not just about, setting the team up to play nice football. You need someone that's going to come in and adopt the city as well as the club. I know.
You want to build a big relationship, and I think Slot's kind of kept himself to himself a bit, hasn't he?
Well, wasn't there someone on the Red Men podcast saying that when Arnie come in, they had a chat with the club to turn around and say, look, can we have a few questions with Arnie? Yeah. And it got outright refused. He said he's not interested in doing it. So I think, if Slot is that type of man, and all right, that's who he is. That's who we've got as manager. But
one that's not like that.
Yeah, but the thing where I think, Millie, was we complaining about it last season? That's where I think. Do you know what I mean? None of this was mentioned.
The problem is though, Ross, when when everything's going well, it's easy. Life's easy, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you forgive a lot
and be like, I don't care if we're winning.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, and looking back at it now, last season, the way it happened, none of us were questioning it. I think all of us were massively happy, but I am concerned about the manager situation, and I want him to turn around more than anyone, but I don't want us to, and I don't think our senior leadership within the club will be willy-nilly, sack him, because, it's a dangerous road to go down. I know everyone's like, get him out, I'm sick of it, but just like have a little bit of perspective. If the next manager goes wrong, we're even further down that league table.
Well, listen, I think Marty's spot on here. Thiago's one to keep an eye on in a few years. No chance he's not unreal. I genuinely think there'll be a few names along with him in the next couple of years where, you know, the Spanish national side will be looking at Barcelona, stuff like that. Even Man City, I think they're going to. I think the Pep will give big advice for him to be one of the candidates. Therefore, I think Thiago's qualities. He started to do like tactical videos and stuff, and you listen to him speak. He is possibly one of the best people to go and be a manager. He's worked for Guardiola, Ancelotti, fucking Jurgen Klopp. Like, look at that for a blend. Do you know what I mean? It's serious. He was alongside Hansi Flick as well at Barca, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's one of those players that got the game though, wasn't he, Thiago? Like when he was on the pitch, he knew how to run a game like with his feet on the pitch. So yeah, I think it's definitely one to keep an eye on with him. I think he would jump at the job with us in a few years, I think.
Millie, what's your thoughts on Inzaghi? I don't know if you know much on Inzaghi in case you watched footy with Inter, but he's obviously gone Saudi. Don't know how he's getting on, to be honest, but I keep seeing this name cropping up.
I don't know how I feel about being a club managed by a manager that's come straight from Saudi, because I think they're so different. I think if he'd have been managing sort of in Serie A or La Liga or something like that, it's kind of there's still that connection between the Premier League. I think once people go to Saudi, I would be concerned about bringing someone back straight into the Premier League because it's so starkly different. There's
be a big fucking wake-up call. Like, Ivan Toney coming back, he'll feel it fucking hard run. Yeah,
exactly. There's so many differences that I don't think really any manager that has gone over to Saudi to come back out to the Premier League would work. Definitely not immediately anyway. It would take time. And so that's not something we've got at the moment. We haven't got time.
Yeah. I think, you know what, Ross? We all want the manager to turn it round, but I can understand what Dico's saying here. The worrying thing is he changed it for the Madrid game and also the Villa game. And he went back a bit normalish and a bit passive against City. That's where people's fucking worries coming in, Ross. And you can get it, can't you?
Yeah, I think for the City game, I said it on the pod earlier on in the week. I think Pep just had a number on Arne that game. You know, the way he set his City team up, and it doesn't excuse the performance. I agree with that, but something Arne was good at last season was adjusting his teams to come back out and kind of fight, and he would make those tactical adjustments. But I think due to the poor season so far, we've said this many times, I think he's in his own head a little bit. Some of the subs he's making are really questionable. And he's not having the same impact on games like maybe after half time where we would come out and then absolutely blitz opponents. So yeah, it's really, really hard to understand at the minute. And I'm all similar to you guys, all of us want him to turn it around, but
it's all well and good talking, Ross, but he needs to fucking show something now. He needs to start looking like he knows what team he wants to play, what style he wants to play. We also need to see fucking identity. I think we don't have any of them today right now.
No, we don't. And this is the thing. Like we need to stop worrying about other teams. Like coming out and speaking about low blocks and coming out and speaking about referees. Like I know we're gonna briefly touch on the VAR stuff. Like it happens. We just got to get our heads down and do what we do. And what we do, or what we have been doing last season, is winning games. And now we're not doing it. So what's changed? So yeah, I don't want to hear anything about how other teams are performing or what other teams are doing or low blocks. Like we know teams are going to play in a low block against Liverpool Football Club.
Of course they are. It's the only way to get a result against them, innit?
It is, but this is it. You know, they did it against Klopp, and I know Klopp had a few comments about teams sitting back, didn't he? So it's frustrating, but let's just get on with our own business, keep our house in order, and then let everything else just pass by.
As I say, look, you know, we've got to, instead of looking at league titles and what have you, take them in 5-game blocks and just try and get some fucking momentum going. And the momentum's there. Liverpool will be all right at the minute. They just can't shake the shitness off. But look, if you just join us, smash a like, subscribe. I want to talk quickly before we start looking to wrap the show up after the VAR situation, because I know you guys will be busy. It is Friday, don't forget. Party time for some, or behaving others. Kop Szoboszlai and Ekatike looked really good last night. Don't know if you've seen it. Ekatike lingering on the left-hand side, Millie, and what a goal that was for France. He looks a serious player. But one thing for sure is why they all play well for the fucking national sides.
This is the thing. This is we were talking about this earlier on today. I think that when we watch them go out on international duty, and this is the second time that we've seen them all perform well so far. Obviously, the last international break, everyone was
same thing.
it has to come down to there's an issue tactically or in the training at the
It's not
first.
working for them at Liverpool, is it?
Something's not working because these are all world-class players and we are somehow making them look absolutely shite week in, week out. And we know they're good players because look at what they do. And I can't, yes, the team need time to gel, blah, 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 whatever. But there's clearly something wrong at the base of where they're starting from tactically in the training ground. Something that they're doing is making them all not gel up together very well. Because then they're going, like I say, to their international teams and look at them. They're on fire. I mean, Dom had an assist, Kirk has had an assist. And then I think Ekitike had a goal and an assist within about 2 or 3 minutes. We know these are good players, but what are they doing? Stifling them because there's something clearly.
I think for one, I think where people are getting, before I do, Callum's last offer is Gerrard, even as interim. I don't know if it would work for Liverpool personally. He certainly wouldn't let players step off the gas. But I also think right now is not the time for Steven Gerrard to be doing Liverpool things.
No, he's going for the Middlesbrough. He's in.
Yeah, he wants a job that he can. He's got to build himself back up as a manager. Liverpool can't be fucking. Liverpool cannot be the club who's giving people just experience. You
wouldn't want him to come in and then it all go wrong. That's just not.
No, and it's like this. It's all right if it's all sound. Do you know what I mean? But at the minute now, the fucking walls are fucking caving in. But this is something I agree with Gary Ross. The team's got to be built around Flo, Hugo, and Isak. Gary hates Isak, Ross. So I don't know if you've seen it. First and foremost, I think the team needs to be built around Isak.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, like Isak last season, like I think was the best striker in the league. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, Haaland!" Like Haaland is ridiculous. He's the best finisher, but I mean, overall best striker. I think Isak, pound for pound, was just unbelievable.
I just want to come to this, Ross. So Song's 4K is saying words coming inside and Ekitike drifting left is a good idea, but it didn't work against City. And I think the reason being is I don't think Ekitike is a natural number 9 for me. I think he's more of a floater off the left-hand side. And I'm hoping in AFCON that we see Ekitike, Isak with words behind. If Liverpool were to bring in a Semenyo, I think they're going to have to start playing that front three, Ekitike, Isak, Semenyo with words behind of some sort. Because I think Liverpool are struggling because they don't have someone stood in the middle of the pitch in front of the goal.
Yeah, it's something that we really haven't seen, you know, especially with the new players. It's not that we haven't seen it. We probably have seen it, but it hasn't worked in the first half of the season. You know, I think Slot tried to change it where we had Wirtz in behind them both. But in the Premier League, there's, you know, so much like intensity. There's so little space. It's hard to get Wirtz on the ball when he's surrounded by everyone. And then you got 2 wingers who are also cutting in.
Yeah.
You know, it leaves a lack of space. So, you know, if you forget about what's happened and you have a look at the players we've got, Isak, Ekitike, Gakpo, Salah, Wirtz, Szoboszlai, world class, like absolutely world class. So at some point, we need to find a way to make them all work, because you can't have all of these players and not make it work. You know, it's
crazy. It fucking is crazy. Because if it carries on like this, one of them won't be here.
This is it. You know, this is why I'm not in a rush to replace managers, because if you start going down, elite players will want to leave and go win the biggest titles, you know? So.
But the problem is, Ross, the manager can only be staying if the fucking results pick up. This is
it. This is, you know, football 101, and it's a tricky situation to be in, and it still baffles me that we're even speaking about this not even a year after lifting the trophy. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, crazy.
It is. And you know, Millie, you know, I agree with this comment from Welsh Mo. Fucking hell, we've got 2 Mo's, so I always forget. Victim of his own success. If we had this form last season, life after Klopp, nobody would have had the head wobble. But we're now implementing Slot's team, his style, 450 mil. Maybe Slot's style is not compatible in Prem.
This is the thing, isn't it? I mean, I was very much not agreeing with the shouts of he inherited Klopp's team, that's why he won the league when we lifted the trophy. But now it almost seems like, was he just running with how we were playing originally and tweaking a little thing here and there because he had the same players and how we did it? I mean, also, the league wasn't, you know, none of the other teams that were in contention for the title last year were really at their absolute best. So, I mean, that obviously and everything went our way last season. But he is definitely a victim of his own success. Because like you say, if we'd have had this season last season, all of us have been like, new manager, we've just lost our manager of 9 years. You can understand why they're going for a transition. But for us to be going through a transition when we've spent all this money, he's implementing his style, something's not clicking. And we can't say it's the players, because the players are great. Don't get me wrong, there have been some players that have been absolutely dog shit, and I've had whinges about them. But the large majority of our players are performing internationally great, and they have their individual performances where they are good, but something's not working. And you have to boil it down to, is it Slot's tactics, and is it the way he's setting up, and is it just not compatible with the way the league's going? If it was a couple of years ago, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, when football was more end to end and the ball was in play more, I think we'd be fine. But it's evolved. It's a different game. We're going back to long throws, all this sort of stuff, and that just isn't working with his setup.
Liverpool are a toe-to-toe team. They like it when it's messy, where they can hit someone on the break. Do you know, when it's all in front of them and they've got to think about things, they don't like it. Liverpool want to be that team where they break fast and they go and hurt someone. Because let's be honest, when Liverpool are like that, they score bunches of goals, 2-3 goals in about 5 minutes. We've seen that many times. Remember what Arteta said? You could be on the Anfield pitch and it feels like you can't move because they're just fucking swarming around you. And I think this is why Arsenal are doing well in the league, because they prefer it slowed down. Because they'll slowly progress up the pitch. One thing's for sure is this season, I think where I will give credit to Arsenal, the passing's crisp, and I think ours is terrible. So unless you fucking can pass the ball, Liverpool, we're not going to get far. And that's what's pissing me off. Ross, you mentioned it before about excuses about regarding low blocks, high balls and shit like that. The manager's got the biggest test coming up, because Forest aren't going to fucking just be open at Anfield, are they?
No. Forest for the last couple of seasons have been notorious for being quite a defensive and solid team, haven't they? They can play attacking football as well, which can hurt people. And take into the kind of form they've had over the last couple of years, in addition now to Sean Dyche being there, it's just a recipe to cause us issues. So yes, I think next Saturday will be a very, very tough game. I just want to win. That's all I want. I don't care if it's a scrappy VAR own goal where it's bounced off 3 people's asses just to go in. I don't care. Just give us a win,
I think though, Ross, I agree. But I don't think we can be playing fucking scruffy football anymore.
No.
We've got to fucking start looking like the Liverpool side. Champions as well, remember?
I think coming into that Forest game, and I know you'll do a preview with everyone, so we won't delve into it too much, but I think going into that Forest game, we'll see a similar setup to Villa and Madrid. And this period now is going to define our season in terms of how it's going to go. I think if we have a bad December, we can fully rule out the league. It's done, dusted, because I don't think it's done just yet. Arsenal have got some tricky fixtures.
We just need to ride the wave a bit, Ross, and see where we get on around December, January.
Well, if we can get to, when is it? January 7th at the Emirates, right?
7th or 8th, yeah.
Yeah, 7th or 8th. If we can get to there and stay within touching distance, like an 8-point gap, and start reducing it, Arsenal will start getting in their own heads. And that will define them then, whether they can cope with that pressure of having someone on their arse throughout the season or second half of the season, or whether they'll just bottle it like they have in previous years. So if we can just stay within touching distance until the 7th of Jan, then anything can happen.
Liverpool, it could be a blessing in disguise, letting City go up there round fucking Arsenal, cause them a bit of shit and pressure, and Liverpool try and sneak in. Be a big ask, but stranger things have happened. We had to come back from a 3-0 fucking against Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? And we did it. So Liverpool are the team. Liverpool aren't a team whereby they like the nice and easy shit. Liverpool are the team that, if we're going to win this year, it's going to the final kick of the fucking last game. And do you know what? We're due one of them wins. We're due a title win like that, where it's like a madness goal that fucking goes in at the end of the final game. And, let's make no mistake, probably one of the best celebrations you'd ever feel is like how City won that league title.
It was on my birthday. Don't remind me.
That must have been some feeling that.
Was you guys in the stadium for that final game when they played Villa and they went 2-0 down and we played Wolves?
Some fucking dickhead done a black fucking cheer.
Like everyone in the crowd was going nuts, and I'm sitting there going, "What the fuck's going on?" And then they went 2-0 down and City brought it back. But it was still a good day in the end. But to be on the other end of that, to feel that, like that's something I just want.
That was Gerrard and Coutinho involved in the fucking game for Villa.
I know. How can you bottle a 2-0 lead against them as well?
Fucking brought Coutinho off. Coutinho was running the show.
I know.
You know? But I mean, look, I think you can't always have these easier strolls in leagues, not just our one. I'm talking in general. I think this year's going to be tighter than people expect. And they're the best watchers, aren't they? Know where people are like on the edge of the seat. But Welshmo saying Slotter's PTSD from Forest last game. Hello, lads. What's happening? Andre saying, hi, guys, you never walk alone. Please give us a like and subscribe. Millie, I know you want to talk about this. Your friend, the referee.
Oh, don't get me started on him.
We ain't going to crop anything here. Don't you worry about that.
We're nearly a week past it. So, yes, I am at the point where I'm like, right, we're going to let it go. But I need to just say my piece. That man, Michael Oliver, is a disgrace. I mean, there's been enough videos of compilations of the amount of decisions that are going City's way when he is at the helm that this needs to be looked at. I don't even care about the game now. Like, yes, goals do change games, and maybe it would have been a different game, but it wasn't. We lost 3-0. But the fact that he's never given a red card to City ever in 47 games, I think, against them. And there's been identical goals that were given to what we scored at the weekend that wasn't given. And I just think we had the David Coote situation and no one believed us. We're like, there's something going on here. This isn't right. This isn't right. And then we're proved right. I mean, we're proved right spectacularly with him corruption-wise, but also obviously past that with the criminal side of things as well. He's really just, the unravelling of him just didn't stop once it started. And I think we can moan about referees till the cows come home. The problem is that you've got an organisation of like PGMOL where the referee on the pitch is under them, but also the VAR referees are under them. And it's like this big boys club where they're all helping each other out. And it's just not right. I think they need to scrap. VAR needs to be done independently from PGMOL. That's how I think you solve it, is separate the two. So it's not me and my mate are on the pitch and then me and two mates.
Our other mates on the fucking telly. Yeah.
That's the big issue, is it's ruining football. And it's the point that I like to make is all the teams should be coming together to discuss this, because it isn't just us. And I know people will say, oh, Liverpool, like, you weren't moaning when the decisions were going your way, but that's not the point. If decisions are not going people's way when they really should be, doesn't matter who the team is, something needs to be done about it, because it is happening game after game after game after game. And it feels like we're talking about it every week. That's why they've got a bloody show on Sky Sports.
Because we are talking about it every week. That's the thing.
Yeah, this is
not just our games, it's fucking all of the games. They're all shit.
Absolutely.
Do you know why we're not moving forward with that, though? It's because, Millie, you said it, like, rival fans will have a dig at us and go, ha, it's happened to you. And then next week it'll go and happen to them. And then we'll have a little dig going, ha, it's happened to you now. Instead, as like a fan base across all fan bases, we should be going, this isn't right here. Something is not right with the decision making. You know, it's too late. Like, I know people go, oh, scrap VAR. VAR is not going away. It's too late.
No.
If it was going to go away, it would have been after the first season it was implemented. It's never going away now. But I put up a tweet out about, like, you know, I think on Sky Sports they were calling it like a borderline call, and that's how they were trying to justify it. And I'm like, you can call it a borderline call all you want, but when it's given one week and then not given the next week, then you've got to provide an explanation as why that's not been done. You know,
also, you can call it a borderline call, but the point of VAR is when it is clear and obvious. So why would then? What's the point? I mean, the audio was obviously released, and you can almost hear the excitement in their voice.
I'll fucking made up. If it was the other way around, go.
This is the thing, absolutely, because it's happened before when they played Wolves. And the other audio I think back to was the Luis Diaz goal that was given as offside.
Yeah, that was
where they're like, great process, lads. That should have been the point where
they should have been fucking hung out to dry. Them fuckers.
Absolutely, and nothing was done about it. So nothing's going to be done this time, but something needs to be done. And really, we need to just, like you say, put the rivalries aside and say, this is not okay. You can't come on this TV on Sky Sports and do ref watch and play us all the audio and think we're all going to go, yeah, all right then. I mean, Howard Webb, don't even get me. Honestly, I hate a lot of them. I honestly hate a lot of them.
Shout out to Stephen. He's saying, need ref promoted and relegated based on a points-based table, paid to shoot, allow every club to drop 5 selected officials from the fixtures. It's not a bad shout, that.
Well, rugby, they're to question the decision, aren't they, when it goes to their video? They've got they can say, no, we think X, Y, and Z. I think there needs to be a system where we can do that, where there's maybe like a certain amount of decisions a game that you are able to question, because what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
You know, don't get me wrong, right? I think they've got a very tough job, and it's hard when you've got crowds like they are in England as well. Do you know what I mean? They're very influenced with the game, you know. But one thing's for sure is the mistakes they do are horrendous.
They're not little mistakes. They're game changing.
There's a few things. I think one, why the fuck they wear fucking eye socks? I'll never understand why a referee wears eye socks. That's something that I just wanted to get out there.
That's the first thing you mentioned about bad referees is why they wear eye socks.
He's a dickhead on the pitch with his fucking eye socks, being a bellend. The other thing is that I don't like the way they don't allow the players to speak to them properly. They're like some fucking hierarchy that they think they're like fucking gangsters. They are like a little gangster firm on the pitch, aren't they? They do what they want.
Yeah.
Look at the fucking elbow of the
that was bad. That was bad.
Like, come on now. Fucking that's the other way around. That player's banned. That fucking lad should never have been seen in the Premier League doing that again.
No.
It's a disgrace. It's time and time again, and there's only so many times that it can be a coincidence. That a coincidence is no longer a coincidence, and it's just a pattern of behaviour. And it's just...
Well, it is. It's a fucking pattern because every week there's some shit that we're always watching. A goal that should have been given, a foul that wasn't a foul. They're terrible at the job. Anywhere, imagine a surgeon like that. People be walking around with like fucking lungs stuck to the fucking head and shit like that, wouldn't
they? They make it up as they go along. It's horrendous.
I don't know.
I genuinely believe that the Premier League is the best league in the world. I think it's fantastic, but it is being ruined by these things because I can't watch another game where it doesn't even matter what team's playing. I'm very able to just put rivalry aside. I watch most Premier League games. You stick the TV on in the background all weekend.
Something to watch on it, the footy.
Yeah, but I can even sit here and say there have just been decisions that have gone other teams' ways and not gone other teams' ways where I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I can say that I'm not a referee. I'm a fan that sits at home and watches Premier League football and goes to watch Liverpool play. That's all. And I can see that you're not making the right choice. So how can all of you not see it? It drives me mad.
It's like that. It's like that penalty that was given against us in the City game just gone, right? It's a soft penalty. It is a penalty, but let's be honest, as Liverpool fans, it was a penalty.
It was a penalty.
Yeah.
He touched him. Unfortunately, that the modern day game, maybe like 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been a pen. It was a pen.
He wouldn't have been able to justify if he'd had the touch or not.
Well, this is it. This is part of the problem, and I think like the fact that we have these rivalry as fans, it stops us from being able to like criticize the game properly. Because we're all taking digs at each other when it happens to one another, instead of all of us sitting here and going, "What the fuck's going on here?" Do you know what I mean? Like it is the consistency is terrible.
It is. Well, I think we've had a good coverage today. I think I haven't really got anything else to write down other than referees are wankers. Adam, if you're watching,
high socks.
Numbers.
High socks, referees are wankers. Adam, I'm talking to you, lad, if you're still watching. But look, we will be back on Tuesday if you're both free for a little guest for you, and it's Lewis Steele, because I'm going to fucking have words with him about his list. Lewis Steele's a top fella. I know some people go on about the Man City stuff, but he's a cracking little
good lad.
He is a good lad. And I didn't like the shit that people go, he's a fucking City fan. And what if he doesn't support Liverpool? He does a good job, and he's a really good lad. So we've got him on Tuesday. If you've got any questions for him, do keep them for Tuesday or let us know on Twitter or something. We can post them too. So I'm guessing there'll be a fair few watching. But as I say, he's a good fella, and he's always active. And I think that's where it's going now. We were talking yesterday, Millie. Social media is taking over. Dicko's saying he's actually funny. That's still he is, lad. When he's like, "Who's in your garden?" or something like that.
yeah. It was all about Barry, wasn't it, I think.
Yeah, Barry. Yeah, I speak to Lewis. He's fucking sound. He's all day. So we'll have a good go. But as I say, I wanted to get him on because now's the right time. The transfer stuff's picking up. Maybe within the week there'll be a few things. So I'm hoping you two will come with some questions for him as well. And he's very open. He's a cracking fella. But look,
I'm going to come ask him why refs wear high socks. That's my question for Tuesday.
Mine. Fuck off, lad. That's my question. Why they wear them fucking high socks, lad? That's you've got to be right about this, lad.
I can get within 5 yards of Mike Oliver because I've got some things I want to say to him. That'd be my one.
Yeah, you're on a restraining order, Millie. You're on a restraining order. Get away from Michael Oliver.
Yeah.
One chance.
Lewis over back in the fucking press box.
Millie's just outside his house with one of those speaker boxes just playing the VAR audio. This is you, Michael.
Yeah. My clip saying the referees are wankers.
Yeah.
But look, thank you very much for coming on today, you two. Good as again. we'll try and see what topics come up. Obviously, at the minute, it's a little bit lack of stuff. Yeah, he is. Slot Baldier, how we fella, as always, giving us support. But look, Reds, we will be back. I don't know whether it's tonight or tomorrow or whatever. But if there's anything you just want us to discuss, yeah, this is it. It wouldn't surprise me with that firm of fuckers, lads. You know what I mean? But look, Reds, keep the faith. If you're watching international footy, do so. I don't think it's garbage, but as long as the Liverpool players are playing well, that's all we care about. So look, we'll see you soon. Up the fucking Reds.